Hi everyone, it's Cherry Enchantress. I'm here with another pick a card reading and the 11th edition of the Divine Love Journey. This video is all about past lives, and although you may or may not resonate with what your past life is about, maybe this will remind you, maybe this will take you to a place you didn't even know happened, or maybe it's just simply a message to help you connect your past life to your current life situation and to kind of know what to do next, or know that you're in a safe place and that you're doing better, because every life is a journey to a greater consciousness, and you're doing a great job. Just know that. All right, there is 6 piles here. We have pile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Pile 1 is, we have 3 actual clear quartz crystals. This one is the wand shape. Pile 2 is rose quartz. Pile 3 is the clear quartz cluster. I knew I had this, and I was like, whatever happened to my clear quartz cluster? And I said, I bet it fell down behind all my beautiful altar arrangement. And it was there. Then we have the orange calcite, and new to the quartz collection is the moon quartz that came in a goddess provisions box, and that I didn't even remember that I think I was going to give it away, and I ended up not doing anything with it and discovered it. So it's kind of a fun discovery, like a fun surprise Mother's Day present for me, although my May one should be still coming. Then we have the Celestite. All right, so, and I think it's, now I know a lot of you might be drawn to this, especially since we're approaching the full moon in Scorpio, the flower moon, but I feel like you should always go with your gut and always let spirit be your guide. Of course, you can listen to all of them, and just for the joy of listening. All right, so just push out your air, take a deep breath, close your eyes, open your eyes, let out your breath. Okay. So choose the one that you're drawn to, and then choose another if you so choose. Let's begin. All right, and here is pile number 1 for the public servant. And we have the clear quartz wand. Just stick that back in there. All right, so let's see what our past life has to say. First of all, you have the High Priestess of Water and a message. So the High Priestess of Water is, of course, the element of water, and it is saying go with the flow. There's some powerful changes coming. There is also a message coming to you. And this this past life, there was a message that maybe you didn't receive, but now the message is coming to you. So let's see what we have next. We have the 9 of Wands. The 9 of Wands is about resilience and strength and faith and overcoming obstacles and success. So something happened in your past life that required you to have a lot of faith. And I feel like some of these things you might be repeating in this lifetime until you get it right, or until you get together with your counterpart. Next we have the Hierophant. The Hierophant is about faith again. Faith gives rise to light even in the darkest places. So there might have been a place that was dark for you, maybe a dungeon, a prison, some kind of enclosed place. But like the Hierophant represents structure and order, and maybe also religious matters. There could have been some kind of boundaries because of religion, but your faith kept the situation alive. Then we have the Nine of Wands. This is, again, Nine of Wands. This one is saying silence. It does not make us weak. Silence does not make us weak. I sense somebody having to make a sacrifice for somebody else. They had to keep quiet in order to give you something, and I feel like it was this. Your Eight of Wands, your freedom. You were enclosed or entrapped in some kind of situation, and your beloved counterpart kept their silence, and maybe they were persecuted in your stead, in behalf of you, in order for you to be free. There's some message here. We have the Eight of Wands and the message. And so the message, maybe you were able to get the message across. Maybe they were able to get the message across to set you free. Maybe this is a past life message for your present life, that they were there for you. They helped you. They took care of you. They didn't let you down. They kept silent in order for you to have your freedom. So that's what I get from this reading. Very beautiful. So let's see what your charms have to say. Let's dabble a few here. This one came out too. You're sure you have the wheel, the cycle wheel of love. You have, this is the Virgin of Guadalupe. You have Buddha. See, there's a religious matter, perhaps. You have travel, and so now, of course, in the past, it wasn't airplanes, but this represents sort of a chance to be free and to travel. Maybe there was some kind of enclosure that you were in. Somebody really gave you sure and true love. Something with 20. Pizza. And 4-leaf clover. And another wheel. So definitely a karmic relationship here. You two have known each other in many past lives. But this one in particular is kind of one of hope, a message of hope for this current one that you're in. And also, I feel like in this current lifetime, look around and look at your blessings. We have may not enjoy fast food, but it is a pleasure, right? To be able to order pizza, it's a pleasure to be able to hop on a plane. These kinds of things weren't as readily available, and maybe even food was so scarce, it was even hard to have a meal sometimes. So I feel like part of your message here is to feel blessed, have an attitude of gratitude for the things that you do have, But these two wheels here, especially this one says love, love, love. I feel like there's a new cycle coming around. This could also have to do with moon cycles. So at this time, if you're watching this in real time, it's about to be a full moon in Scorpio, the flower moon, which is beginning a new phase. And so that could be a powerful moon for you to use, to create, to manifest, to attract. All right, I hope you like that. I'm going to move on to the next. Okay, and pile number 2 is the entrepreneur and the rose quartz. I rubbed them down in oils. It smells so good too. And thank you anybody who is helping me with Reiki healing my head. I feel so much better. All right, so let's see what you have. You have choices. And the High Priestess of Air. Okay, so let me think on this a little. Air is all about flowing, intelligence, ideas. This is reasonable conversations, calculated decisions. And choices is asking you to ask a question. And your question is this for your highest good? It's interesting how all of these piles will have a past life message, you know. This is past life connection. It's connecting with the current life. And some of the communications are things that happened in the past life, but some of the communication is past life communicating with current life. So that's how we begin. Next we have Three of Cups. Three of Cups is a celebration of friendship and harmony, and it's a quality time that's about to start for you. Embark. Beautiful quality time. So you're asking, is this for your highest good? You were asking that in a past life. You may be asking that again now. Let's see what else we have. We have the Knight of Pentacles. This is the spirit of the defender. You will want nothing of value to be lost. So there's here, I believe this is your counterpart, and they may have been afraid to lose you, and they worked really hard not to lose you because they find you not valuable in a monetary sense, but valuable as in a woman or a person of value. Your heart, your spirit is not like any other that they ever came across, and they could never let that go. They could never forget about that. Then you have the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords says conflict is always the last solution, while the negotiations are a dance that takes different viewpoints into consideration. I get the sense there that somebody was trying to fight for you, fight for your hand, possibly, or fight for your reputation, or fight to win you. Maybe there was a duel or a sword fight, and this is the last resort, you know. Normally, they wouldn't have done this, but there seemed to be no other way to win your heart other than to have a duel for you. The reason why I say duel is a dual situation, but maybe there is a dual thought process, two processes at the same time, one of never letting you go, and then this thought process of everything being fine, and this is friendship and harmony. Maybe on the outward appearance, everything did seem fine and friendship and harmonious, but there is this duel inside of this person or against someone else who was trying to steal you away. But I feel like, with choices and Two Swords, the Two of Swords, there's somebody had to make a choice, and I don't think it was you, because this looks like you feeling content and not worried about the matter, not even knowing that this matter existed. But the counterpart knew. The counterpart knew that there was the only way they could keep you is to fight for you. Okay, so maybe in this in this lifetime, I'm getting my dreams confused with my past life regression here. But in this world, but it could, really, if I'm accidentally slipping into dreams. Our dreams are also ways that we travel back into time, and also they're reminders, so we get messages about our past lives through our dreams a lot of the time. And like in situations like this, where this is kind of a dreamy situation, explanation, the tarot reading. So I feel like there might be a need to fight for you, and you need to let them, because you're worth it. You're special. You're a jewel. You're one of a kind. No two people like you. And you need to let them win your heart and not just give it away too easily. That's what I see for this life. All right, let me see what the charms have to say. I'll just grab a couple. All right, you have the hanger. So you don't want to be hung up on something, but I feel like the hanger could be dressing that nicely, buying new clothes, treating yourself, pampering yourself. You've got the dragonfly, which are spirit messages from your ancestors whispering in the grass. You get you are the missing puzzle piece. You are the missing piece in his world or in her world. Yeah, so dress up, feel good about your beauty, your sexuality. Maybe it's time to peacock a little bit. Enjoy how sexy you are. Enjoy how beautiful you are. Let everyone know that you are worth it, and not just in a physical sense. Your spirit shines through. See how your spirit is shining through? That's your spirit forever. And you have this very beautiful, loving, giving heart. And this is what they see, They see a physical beauty. They see a style, and they see an air of elegance, but they also see this beautiful, peaceful, healing, loving person. Okay? So just be you and let them win you. All right? So let your counterpart win you. All right, I'm going to move on to the next. And here's pile number 3. And we have the officer for this pile, and the clear Crystal Quartz cluster. I love this one. It's been a while since I used it, and it kind of reminds me of that Superman's home, with all the crystals shooting up everywhere. Okay. Let's see what we have in the cards for you. We have complicated. I mentioned a little bit about this card today and the messages of your beloved. Complicated. And you have the warrior. Nice. Okay, so the warrior is one of the luckiest cards in the whole deck, and it's saying all will be well. And it's also saying somebody is very deeply committed, protective, and kind. So this person in your past life was very deeply committed to you, but there was a complicated situation. In this complicated situation, the only solution to it was time. Time will tell, and can make, sometimes dealing with a complicated situation can make for deeper, more mature experiences. So, yeah, this could be something that's carried over into this lifetime. A complicated situation that may have never been worked out in the past life, that now you have to finally work it out because you didn't completely resolve it. Let's see what's next. We have the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is power, a sharp mind. This is mental clarity. This is a fighting spirit. It's clarity of all kinds. It's intelligence, and the Ace is about starting things anew. and having force towards it, putting force towards it. Let's see what we have. The Three of Pentacles. Everything is born small and fragile and incomplete. So if you think about it that way, things aren't fully developed when they're born, right? They have to grow. And just like you and your relationship with your counterpart, you have to grow. You have to go through the growing stages. The Three of Pentacles oftentimes talks about projects and dealing with other people to create something. And perhaps you were in a creative energy together, but it never fully developed because of some complications. Maybe it could have been health complications, you know. And then we have strength. The strength is true courage cannot be seen. And you know what? Some courage, or just a little bit of courage, or sometimes just kindness and love and generosity is more useful than 1,000 battle cries. So instead of fighting what you can't change, I feel like the serenity prayer is bubbling up in me again. You know, the serenity prayer is about wisdom, courage, and serenity. And having the serenity to accept what you can't change, but courage to change what you can. So I think that this lifetime will be about changing what you can change. You might face similar complications this lifetime as you did in the previous lifetime, but in this lifetime, it's now time for you to face your courage, or your counterpart, or both of you, to collaborate together, pull your resources together, and create this new force, this triumphant feeling, the warrior feeling. You can do it. You're brave, you're strong. He's brave, or she's brave and strong. Your counterpart and you together can conquer anything that can get in the way. Be resolved to go through the complicated scenario or situation as part of your growth and your learning, because that is what you're here for in this lifetime, is for growing and understanding yourself and learning more about yourself and evolving individually and as a couple. Okay, let's see what your charm surface is. Alright, good. We've got the green marble, which I designate for earth. So earthly pleasures. Inside the New Bohemians. Oh no, this is MTV. So maybe you and your counterpart are of the MTV generation. Just like that past reading, I just feel like one of the things that you should do is just have an attitude of gratitude that we are in these times, that things are a little bit easier. Even despite the pandemic, we have a much easier lifestyle, and things aren't as complicated. Just the ease of living is so much greater and better than there was in hundreds of years ago. All right, this situation is a forever situation, forever and ever. You will always be connected. You're the star that shines for him. There's hope in this lifetime that you'll have your dance underneath the chandelier. And this situation is heavy. It's a heavy situation. It can be a little complicated, and it may be hard to deal with at times. But stick with it, because you'll have your night, your special time together, where you get to get dressed up and have your dance under the chandelier. Then you have Sagittarius, which is all about being optimistic. So keep in your optimistic attitude and you will attract this strength and courage and fight and the warrior spirit to conquer anything that can get in your way so you can be together in this lifetime. All right, I'm going to move on to the next. Next we have pile 4 with the entertainer and the orange calcite, which looks like, I don't know, looks a little bit like a piece of cheese or some fruit. I like the way it looks in the light. All right, so let's see what you have. Ooh, fulfillment. Some wine and pomegranates. And the High Priestess of Fire. So that's good. Your past life, or the past life that's sending you a message, is about good times, you know. The High Priestess of Fire is saying inspiration and joy. Let your light brightly shine, okay? And the fulfillment is saying celebrate choices, savor every moment. So I feel like you had a wonderful past life, at least one where you connected really well. You had at least moments where you were able to savor each other and enjoy time together that felt really rich and delicious. I just feel like food and drink and wine and touching and romance and fiery passion between you. Here we have the 6 of Wands. So yeah, success, public recognition, shining brightly, and self-confidence. So maybe one of you was famous, and because of your fame, you had wealth and riches, and you were well loved by everyone. Then we have I think that's the Empress. Yeah, the Empress. Empress is grace and humility. True power is responsibility managed by love. So also, you know, possibly the famous person could have had had responsibility of running a kingdom, maybe, or, you know, a large group or land or family. And it is very possible there could have been 2 feminines here, or this is the same feminine, both famous and high stature. Let's see what else. We have the 2 of Pentacles, and it kind of makes me think like the Fool, the jester at court, the funny person. This is saying that nature grows and spreads without design, plans, or ambition. This is all about spontaneity, and it just feels very free. So maybe there was, I feel like there was the 2 people here were and this is the entertainer. The 2 of Pentacles represents the entertainer. And if this could have been a famous entertainer that entertained for royalty, possibly. And this is how you had the connection. Maybe you were always at court and always had plenty of food and wine and drink, and were able to entertain this beautiful princess or queen or even king. But I feel like, you know, right now that just sense of feminine energy doesn't necessarily, I don't really sense the 2 opposites, masculine, feminine. I sense a performer like the entertainer, and I sense a person that had power, another person that had power to over you, perhaps, or over the entertainer. And maybe not, it wasn't a romantic situation in this lifetime, but maybe it was intended to be. Maybe you belong together, but you never got together because of this. Or maybe, like what I first picked up on, you secretly were together in a passionate, romantic, lustful situation behind the scenes, because royalty was not allowed to do anything to marry the fool, to marry the entertainer. So maybe there was some kind of secret affair situation. But I do feel like it was a happy lifetime, even despite having to go around the rules. In this lifetime, I feel your answer would be not to go around the rules anymore, but be brave and show that you guys can be together just the way you are. An entertainer and whoever the other person is, an entertainer and the CEO, or the entertainer and the officer, or whatever, the two can be together. There's no more power trips, there's no more status equations. Maybe in today's society, occasionally these things do come up, but not nearly the way they were hundreds of years ago. So I feel like, and also I've heard Aquarians are the type of people similar to Aquarians. They're the type of people that don't judge a person by their status, that they would date anybody from any status, and they feel like everyone is equal. The person that works at fast food place is equal to the doctor or the lawyer. We're all on the same level, so to speak, according to some people believe in that, and maybe you do too. And maybe you can convince anybody that needs convincing that you are the same, and it doesn't matter your backgrounds. Okay? All right, let's see what your charms have to say. All right, we have the Saturn with the hearts. So I feel like this is kind of like my case, Venus in Capricorn, or Saturn in the 7th house, which means this is a true karmic situation, that even though it was a beautiful lifetime, this lifetime it's going to go to a whole new level. Look at this. I think this lifetime you're going to get engaged or married even. That this whole playful lifetime and romantic, and you were lovers, but maybe you never were able to reach a married couple because of social reasons. This time you will. Look at that. We've got the entertainer microphone. So actor, singer, speaker of some sort. We have the Lady of Guadalupe and Saint Christopher, who is the patron saint of travelers. So you might be a traveler. Snowflake could indicate winter months, but it could also indicate being one of a kind. No two snowflakes are alike. Very special person or people here. And the bird just to me means some communication is coming for you. If you're wondering what's going on in this relationship, you're going to get some answers pretty soon. You're going to get some communication. Okay? Yeah, because this could lead to the next phase of your life if, possibly engaged and married and all of that. All right, I hope you like that. I'm going to move on to the next. And here's pile number 5 with the moon quartz. Isn't that so pretty? I'll just put it right over here so we can always reach it if we need to. Okay, let's take a look at your past life. This past life will be just a clue and help for your current life, some kind of messages. Interesting, you have don't forget, a reminder. There's some kind of reminder. Somebody's trying to reach out to you and tell you something. You have the High Priestess of Earth. All right, let's see what we've got. So the reminder is, it's not necessary to learn the same things twice. Remember what you know. Remember what you know. Sometimes we do repeat same lifetime over and over again because we forget, but this is saying, remember, remember who I am, remember what we were. Let's not do this again. Remember what you know. Don't forget. The High Priestess of Earth is talking about walking barefoot. It's waiting for the tangible, right? It's the first kiss. It's the evidence of the tangible. It's the evidence that this is for real. And one or both of you are longing for that or needing that. And maybe there's a sense like, this is real. And remember, it's real. Don't you remember? Why are you forgetting us? So let's see what else we have. Page of Pentacles. This is achieving dreams and goals and focused minds and clear actions. There was an intent, a strong intent to create something in a past life. It was clear, it was strong. You have the Ace of Wands. This is passion. Passion creates but also can consume at the same time. Maybe the passion overcame you. And you have the Six of Cups. The present is another facet of the past, just as the future will be another facet of the present. And I feel like this is the gift. There is a gift, an exchange, and I feel like this is a lifetime that might have been repeated several times without a certain kind of fruition. Or maybe a fruition, but maybe you just both passed, and upon passing you said, don't forget me, find me, don't forget me, remember who I am, remember I'm your love, remember what we had together, we built something together here, we had something solid and sturdy and earthbound. I feel like this lifetime was a beautiful lifetime, and maybe even a marriage. And this is kind of like yours or your counterpart's tombstone. And it's saying, remember we were together, and in this current lifetime maybe you're not together. And your counterpart, you and your counterpart, or you're calling to your counterpart, can't you remember me? Or your counterpart is saying, don't you remember me? How are you? Maybe you're with somebody else. Why are you with that person? You belong to me. Don't you remember? We were married, we were together, we had passion, we built a home. So I'm not sure what's happening in this lifetime with you, but in a past lifetime you did belong together. You were each other's other, spouse or something like that. I feel a very beautiful, solid situation here that was not dependent on the times. I don't even see the age that this happened in. I just see that wherever it was strong and it was comfortable. Let's see what your charms have to say. So we got Ariel talking about singing your voice. Don't keep things to yourself. Speak up. We've got the Rider, which is good. So some news on the way. Messengers coming. A visitor perhaps. But some news. Some big important news. So get dressed in your fancy fine clothes. Buy some new stuff. Inspire. You feel inspired now. Six could represent June. We have the turtle. We have the dragonfly, ever and hope, and Joan of Arc. Yeah, Joan of Arc. Jeanne d'Arc. Now, Jeanne d'Arc's past life wasn't content and beautiful like that. But, maybe Joan of Arc, between her lifetime and this lifetime, maybe she had a happy one. Maybe she did. I hope she did. But anyway, I feel like the turtle, a lot of you are say slow and steady wins the race, which is true, but this is a sea turtle, and the sea turtle goes in and out of the tide. So the tides change to high tide and low tide according to the moon and the moon cycles. And the turtles know when to go in towards the sea and when to come away from the sea. And you can see them crawling. They're so cute. And I feel like, in a general sense, this is important for you to look at the moon and understand how the moon affects you and in your cycles, and when you should start projects or initiate something, and when you should finish something, give yourself a date to complete something. So watch the moon cycles, because they'll help you with that. So this coming, if you're watching in real time, tomorrow is the full moon in Scorpio, the flower moon. And so the full moon is about culmination. So culmination of things now. You've put in a lot of work. Now let's get to the, climax of it. The dragonfly is talking about ancestors speaking to you. So maybe they have something to tell you. So listen, see what kind of messages you get. Then the hand could be about palm reading, but it could also be about like lending a hand. Somebody's going to lend you a hand. Or this could be also just saying, great job. You're doing what you need to do. You're being a kind, helpful person, and you're going to be rewarded for these things. I think visitors coming. All right, so I'm going to move on to the next. All right, and here's finally pile number 6 with the healer and the Celestite. And I swear I didn't put this on 6 on purpose, but the healer often gets the 6th position for some reason. All right, let's see what your cards are. Ooh, you've got Oath. It's a nice one. And the High Priestess of Spirit. Okay, so the High Priestess of Spirit is saying divine scheme of things is happening here. It's helping you. It's helping you to become more powerful. In the divine scheme of things happen in a certain way, in a certain order. Challenges arise in a certain way in the divine scheme of things to help your growth, to help your evolution and your expansion. And oh, look at that. There's some people over here. Interesting. And then the hand. These are like almost like your angels or something. The oath kind of makes me think of a spiritual oath too, like saying, giving your vows like wedding vows for your true love, but vows also like a nun would give, vowing to be dedicated to Jesus or something like that. So it could be religious vows, or it could be spiritual vows. So I'm gonna plug in my phone so it doesn't die. Alright, so the oath is saying letting go if someone refuses to be honorable. This is going back to the pagan do no harm. So there is, if there is a person in your life that is not holding true to their oath, you're allowed to let them go. You don't have to hold on to them if they're not doing as they say they were gonna do, right? There's in this world, there is a doctor I listened to, and she talked about the 3 A's. If there was adultery, addiction, or abuse, if any of those 3 things happened in a relationship, that especially, she talked about marriage particularly because she believed in keep the marriage vows, the oath of marriage, of staying with somebody. She believed in that. But you're not allowed to be abused if somebody harms you, right? Do no harm. So the 3 A's she talked about: alcoholism or addiction, abuse, and adultery. If a person does any of those 3 things after counseling and working on it, and they can't stop doing any of those 3 things, then that to her was grounds that marriage couldn't last, especially after counseling and not able to cure any of those 3 things, right? So that made sense to me. And especially in my case, it was abuse. So if a person is abusing you and you've tried really hard together and nothing is working, then you have the right to let that go. That's your right. Don't feel bound to this oath if somebody's abusing you, okay? That's one of the things here. But in the same time, if you've made an oath and everybody is holding to their oath of treating each other kindly with respect and love and honor, then you should stick with this oath. Well, we've got the 10 of Wands though. Wow. This makes me think of Katniss Everdeen, Girl on Fire. This is a heavy burden or responsibilities. Just there's a need to delegate, and there's so much pressure. So this person in the past life had a very high pressure situation that they were having trouble dealing with. It just consumed them, like they could barely breathe because of the way that it made them feel. Then we have the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords is the spirit. This is the spirit of the critic. There's one thing to be criticized, and then there's another to be verbally abused constantly and never be let up, right? Criticism, healthy criticism, can be helpful for sure, but if it goes to verbal abuse, then it can harm. So do no harm. Then we have Temperance. This is the echo of peace, and there needs to be a balance when it comes to who was I listening to? Oh, it was Lexi. She was talking about sandwiching complaint, criticisms between 2 nice things. There's ways to go about these things, being diplomatic and being kind and being temperate and moderate in the way you say things, and not being cruel, unnecessarily cruel. So I feel like maybe this person, you or your counterpart, had to deal with so much criticism and cruelty in the verbal, and there was not enough balance. Maybe they had to find balance outside of this situation. And then we have an extra card came out. We have the 8 of Pentacles. The 8 of Pentacles is shattered dreams need not die. They live in us as long as we give them a piece of our heart. So I feel like that means that there is a connection here. Somebody maybe got in the way, criticized, was hurtful, and somebody else was feeling really consumed by the upset, the rage, or the destructive way that the words hit them, the criticism hit them. But there is an oath to stay with this. I think that this just means there was hope to get out of it. I don't see three parties though necessarily. I see like a mother and a daughter in a way, or somebody oppressing somebody else who wasn't able to break free and do what she wanted to do. There is a sense of hope here, and so I feel like this hope is what's carried over into this lifetime. These dreams need not die. They live within us as long as we give them a piece of our heart. So our time is now. I think it's beautiful that the healer got this, because I feel like of all the categories, the healer has an amazing connection with their counterpart. That's, I think, for some people it's still in the 5D, but some people might be experiencing 3D levels of this. But I feel like it's the one that has a lot of promise and potential. Like there's no harm in this relationship. There is no harm in this lifetime at all. There might have been harm in the last time. So maybe there's this oath that next lifetime, or this current lifetime, the oath is no harm, do no harm, and have a beautiful life. And you've carried over this karmic lesson from this lifetime. You carried over to this current lifetime as a healer, as somebody who's loving and giving, who's balanced, who's kind, and your counterpart is the same way as you. You're twins, you're alike. You might both be healers, but you both have the healer quality about you. You both have the spirit. You both have the high priestess of spirit within you. And I feel like that's carried over. So this criticism can't hurt you anymore. It's this lifetime, it won't hurt you. It bounces off of you. You won't let it. You won't let it do you harm to yourself, and you won't do harm to others. That's been your oath. All right, so I like that one. Let's see what your charms have to say. Alright, you got a good idea. See, you have hope. This one was all about hope. Hope for the next lifetime, I guess. You're very creative. You're very bountiful. I feel like you're in a reward lifetime. You're going to get everything that you want. You might not yet have your counterpart, but you definitely will. I feel before your life is done, you will have your counterpart in your life, on a daily basis. You've got Tinkerbell, manifesting, sprinkling pixie dust everywhere. You've got the baby boy. This is a heavyweight here. You have the twin flame, or the yin yang symbol, sun, moon, a little doggy, and what's that? And a little bee, and making honey. So it's a very sweet situation. You're connected in your dreams. You're protected. Shooting an arrow, going straight for the point. Cancer, who is imaginative. Something may be happening on the 20th of the month. Oh, that's funny. That said 20, and this one says 30. Between the 20th and the 30th. Oh, look, you have another yin-yang symbol. So definitely your counterpart. You and your counterpart are together. Feel it. You're just right there together. Maybe a French connection. And again, another sweet. Like the bee and the candy cane makes me feel like your relationship is very sweet. Like you're both don't do no harm types. Somebody might like golf. And very beautiful people. Maybe somebody has green eyes, sparkly green eyes. But I feel like this might have been the past life that you weren't together, but this lifetime that you're living now is your reward lifetime. Things are going good for you. Your spirit is glowing and shining, and you're evolving. And your counterpart, the healer, is also as well, and you'll be together. You're there. You're almost there. Very close. I can feel it. All right. So I hope you like that, and faith, trust, and pixie dust.